Hi, my name is Chris Marafi, and together with my partner Bernardo Gonzalez, I will be showing you the Rhythm Fist aerobic fighting system today. The stance is very simple. Basically just stand with your feet shoulder width apart and just step forward about 1 foot. Then turn your body to a 45-degree angle with your feet, and then raise your hands to a boxing style stance. Your weight's evenly distributed, so you can go forward or you can go backward, doesn't matter. Whatever is needed, you want to have your weight nicely evenly distributed on the balls of your feet and be able to move in any direction. This is called a right lead because my right foot is forward. To do a left lead, you want to replace the feet and bring your left foot forward. Same stance, change your hands in your shoulder position. So again, to switch, I just bring this foot back and bring this foot forward. I could just turn and step forward if I wanted to come forward. But if I'm just switching, I'll usually replace step like this. It's just a very simple movement. Foot comes back, other foot comes forward. You don't want to be have your feet too close together like this on this line, because then you won't have any balance. They need to be a little bit apart. Like I said, go back, check it, shoulder width apart, step forward, turn. That's it. Replace. Replace. Okay, stand the balls of your feet so that you can push off forward or push off back. If you push off, make sure that you bring your back foot with it. Or if you push back, make sure you pull your front foot. You want to keep the same distance between the feet all the time. You can drop down lower with this stance, or you can stand high. High gives you a little more mobility. Lower might be the case if you're very in close range fighting. Okay, so that's the basic stance. Now, how do you move in this stance? What we use is called the X footwork. Okay, it's based on an X. You can see I have an X done in tape on the floor here. You can just take some tape, make an X on the floor. And what you want to do is you want to imagine this X repeating itself in all directions out. So you have X after X after X sitting right beside each other, sort of in little squares. And what you can do then is you can think about all the different ways that you can move along this X to facilitate your footwork. So for instance, I can just move back and forth along the back points of the X. I could take my foot and go forward to the middle of the X, replace the foot and go back to this side of this X, like this, and just replace it. It's kind of what I just showed you with replacing your right and left leads, only you're doing it on the X now. You just changing, changing, changing. You want to, again, this is Rhythm Fist, so you want to keep a rhythm with it. Go. I'm raising my leg a little bit. What that does is it gets you used to just getting your leg out of the way if someone's going to kick it. Maybe you want to do some sort of a, we'll get into this later, but checking a kick with your foot or something like that. So I'm just moving along the back of this X, replacing my footwork. Okay, then I can just go along the back of the X. I could go to the middle and out to this side of the X, just back and forth, like this. Okay? I could go the reverse of what I was doing on the back of the X, on the front of the X, where I'm replacing this way, stepping out, stepping out. Okay, I could go along the front of the X. I could make a full circle with that. Okay, I could go back, and then I could make a full, it's not a circle, it's a triangle on the back of the X. Okay, and stepping back, across the back of the X, and forward again. Okay, and you can go in either direction. Alright, now if we imagine that there's X after X after X, then you can imagine that the next X would create kind of like a diamond shape. So the back, or the front, or the middle point of that X would be here. So I can step out to this one, and I can move along that diamond. 2 triangles. Or I could just go this again. I could go across the back of this X and forward to this side of the X. Makes it a U type of shape. I could do the same thing on the front of this X, going across the front and back to the back point. Makes an opposite of that, a reverse U shape. You see this kind of footwork in all different kinds of styles. You see this one in capoeira, you see these in Kali, Sila, a lot of different styles use this type of footwork. But if you use the X system, and you think about all the different ways that you can move along this X, and all the X's that are just around it, and you put on some music, and just start moving with it. Try to move it in rhythm. You know, try to really move with it. You know, boom, you're moving along the X's. And what happens then is you get very dexterous with your footwork. To the point where when we're doing the rhythm flows and all of the other things, the techniques, you don't have to think about your feet. You can step around that person's leg and do the technique without having to think about it, because you're used to stepping around this different parts of this X. You don't step through it. You can't step through a person's leg, so you want to move along the X. You don't want to just very sloppily do it. Very carefully do it with rhythm, and then later on you don't have to think about it at all when you're doing all the techniques and the rhythm flows.